DECAP.
What was crazy about this track is somebody sent it to me and asked if I produced it, and I was like, no. But I listened to it, and it had a loop from Drums That Knock Volume 5. And so I listened to it, and I was like, yo, this is super dope. Whoever produced this picked the perfect sound for it. 10 million plays, so it did pretty well. I spoke with Empire. Empire set up for me to do a remix for the track. It never ended up coming out, so I decided to just put it out on SoundCloud. To do the remix, I teamed up with the homie Gyrefunk, and this is the remix.
Out the sky into my life now. I wish I could say you were my first love. I wish I could say I wouldn't hurt you.
So this one is up on SoundCloud right now, so you can bump it if you want. It's out. I'm gonna do a behind the beat breakdown and show you guys how we produced it. First thing we did, I don't have all the processing, but on the vocals, I added a side chain so it ducks out every beat. Because the beat is a 4 on the floor beat, so every time the kick hits, the vocals duck out. So I just wanted to do that to give it that dancey kind of feel. Pretty much all the vocal processing, the melody, I pretty much kept the same. Did the same thing with the melody, added the side chain to it. I did the drums for this one in FL Studio. 4 on the floor kick. Very simple. Swing. Clap. I believe all the drums are from Drums That Knock Volume 6. Hi-hat. Gyrefunk played a little percussion thing he found in the studio, just to give it a little more groove. Added a shaker loop. I think Gyrefunk might have played that. And then open hat. More melodic stuff. Gyrefunk played that. Little ear candy. The bell sound was from Keyscape. MKS 20 Vibes is the preset. And then the bass, Pluck Dance Bass was the preset. That is a sound I designed from Drums That Knock Volume 6. Behind that, you can hear live bass. Originally, Gyrefunk played live bass as the bass line because he brought his bass guitar to the studio. And so this is it. I just chopped up certain pieces of it. We didn't use the whole line. Super gritty, but it works on the record. I just added some glue compressor. I use a preset bass low extender. Cut all the lows. Then I use Slate Virtual Mix Rack, and I put the Neve emulation mic pre on it and cranked it up. That's how you get that distorted sound. Yeah, that's without it. That's with it. And then I added Ozone Imager just to give it width. So without it, very centered. With it, made it wider. This was the original bass line. Oh yeah, I remember this now. He played like some extra percussion, so he gave me like a bunch of percussion stems. So this is what he sent me. Open hat. More cymbals. I just did some mixing and just arranged it. Put the vocal track in simpler and just chopped random pieces of it. I put some OTT on the vocals to make them cut through more. Since it's a remix, I wanted the vocals to be poppy, dance. The original record was more of an R&B record, so I went a little more poppy on this one. Little chops from the vocal. This one we pitched up 2 semitones and then pitched down 3 semitones, so it sounds like this. At the end of the record, we did like... I like this part. We just chopped up the vocal. Just take the vocal and just chop it up right on the Ableton timeline. you can see I EQ'd out everything below 230, and same thing with this track. You actually don't need the gain stage in Ableton because you can just turn it down at the master level. So that's what I did with the utility. Without the utility, it's clipping too much. So I put the utility just to control the clipping a little, just before it got audible. This is without the master chain, and with it. You can see it just widened it, balanced it, cleaned it up. So I'll show you guys how I did that. First thing I put was a Pro Q, Bab Filter Pro Q3, cut everything below 30 hertz, linear phase mode. I added this dangerous back EQ from Plugin Alliance, boosted the top end about 4.8, 2.7 decibels, and I cut the lows by about 1.5 decibels. Then I put a Gulfoss on it, set the recover to 20 and the tame to 20. I didn't set the bias. Gulfoss just opens it up. Then the next thing I added was a saturator. Without it, with it. Just kind of gives it a little more punch. Soft sine mode. Glue compressor. Without it, with it. Just tried to catch a little bit of those transients and soft clipped it. Pro L2 limiter. Dithers off. Just gave it a little more boost. Without it, with it. And then the last plugin in the chain, good hertz, good dither. I upload a 24-bit file, so I'm dithering down from 32-bit to 24-bit. From what I understand, it adds a very, very quiet noise to help the truncation of the audio from 32-bit to 24-bit. Just to keep it simple, I put this plugin at the end of the chain when I'm bouncing for streaming services because it helps with the downsampling from 32-bit to 24-bit, or if you're going from like 48 kilohertz to 44.1. Let's go.
DECAP.